The first step toward recording that professional audiobook that will pass right through the inspection process every time is to make sure that your recording space is quiet enough to give you audio that has a background level of noise or room tone low enough to pass the standards. So the very first thing on your shopping list needs to be a decibel meter, something like this, that you can pick up on Amazon for $15 to $30. This thing will tell you in dBA how much noise is in your recording space, and that way you have a base level to work from. Then you want to take it a step beyond that though, and you want to check it inside of your recording software to see exactly how much of that background ambient noise is going to get into your recording. Let me show you what I mean. If you want to produce audiobooks for sale on Amazon, Audible, and the other sites, you need to be able to start with audio that has a noise floor, or background noise level, of negative 60 dB. The only way to get there is to start with a quiet recording space. So, in this tutorial, we will explain what this means and how you can check the noise floor in your recording space. Now, before we continue, I'm sure you already know this, but what is noise floor? Noise floor is that background noise behind your recording. It's this right here, and it is the enemy of good audio. Because whatever you record back there is not magically going to disappear no matter what you do later on in software. If you add compression or other fancy tricks to the audio, you're going to be playing with that audio and you're going to be raising your noise floor right along with it. So let's talk about decibels. First of all, there's a lot of confusion out there about decibel levels, and there really doesn't need to be because they're not that complicated. What's important to understand is that when it comes to decibels in audiobook production, we're really talking about two separate and related things. Number one, we're talking about dBA. This is the real world sort of measurement of sound. It's the way you normally think about audio in the real world, in the real life. And the scale works in an intuitive way like the knob on your stereo. It starts at 0 dBA, which is complete silence, and it has no upper limit, theoretically. You want the background noise level or room tone, that's this right here, in your recording space to be about 40 dBA or so. There are no hard and fast rules on this. It all depends on your microphone and your equipment, and we'll go into all that in future videos. 2, we're also talking about the negative dB meter in your recording software, and that's this puppy right here. Now, you might say, well, that looks like a fancy DAW. What is that? This is Adobe Audition, the latest and greatest version, Adobe Audition CC. But this is going to be standard across any digital audio workstation or DAW, whether you're using Pro Tools all the way to if you've got the free, Audacity. They're all the same when it comes to this, so these standards are the same. So, this dB scale is the mirror opposite of how we talk about sound in normal life. It starts at a low number. In most software, it's going to be about negative 120 dB, which is far too low for you to hear. Then it goes all the way up to 0. Okay? 0 is the limit. At 0, you cannot add any more gain, which is industry speak for volume, without damaging your audio. Let's talk about this right down here now, negative 60. This is something you're going to hear about constantly in the Audible Submission Standards. Your recording, see that negative 60 dB? That's the loudest your background noise, your room tone, can be in a recording for Audible. So your recording can't pass negative 3 at its loudest point, and the background hum can't be any louder than negative 60. For now, let's ignore the RMS component everybody's talking about and concentrate on getting this. And also, forget about noise reduction plugins, noise gates, all of it. If you are new to the world of audio, the worst thing you can do is think you'll fix bad audio with software tricks. It doesn't work like that, I promise you. Instead, you need hard data on your noise levels of your recording space to see what you are up against so you can adjust your recording space to work. What do I mean? I mean that if your space is a little noisy, you have to change your approach. You have to make the space quieter. Maybe you have to get a different kind of microphone. We'll go over all this in future recordings as well. So what are the mechanics of this? Simple. You need to record a sample of audio at your target level and see what you've got. Target level is about negative 3 dB because that's where you're wanting to get to. So start talking into your microphone, turn up the gain until your voice is just hitting under the -3 dB mark, and take a look at your noise floor. This is your real noise floor. Okay, because even if you turn down your mic and it looks better, in post-production when you raise the audio, a noise is going to come right up with it. So let me demonstrate how this works. I'm going to turn my microphone off, and then I'm going to bring it back up to the level where I'm just about peaking, as I am now, at -3. So turning mic off now. I'm talking, raising my mic, raising my gain, and look at that, I'm back at -3 dB, and oh, coincidentally, on my mixer board here, my potentiometer is at 0, which is exactly where you want it to be for your target recording level. Now, when you are recording for real, you want to keep your recording level much lower, somewhere down around -12 to -18 dB so you don't clip your audio. But, as we mentioned earlier, when you bring up your audio later on in post-production, you will bring up the background noise with it. So this exercise up front helps you to see what your real background noise level will be when you bring up your audio. In future videos, we'll talk about ways to make your voice sound slicker, editing the audio professionally, etc. But the most important ingredient in a professional audio book is to record it in a quiet environment so you can get clean audio. Starting with clean audio makes editing and mastering easy. Starting with noisy audio will prevent you from ever getting a professional result, no matter how many plugins you throw at it. So, to recap, you want your studio background noise level to be somewhere around 40 dBA in the real world, because this will translate to somewhere around -60 dB in the recording world. You want your noise floor to be no more than -60 decibels. If you're not hitting those standards, your first job is to fix or find a recording space to make quiet enough to record. Don't waste time and money on other solutions till you've got this one down. And in future videos, we'll talk about some suggestions for recording in not such perfect conditions. I started my audiobook business in a spare bathroom. It can be done, people. I promise you. I'm Dalan from SoundFridge. Check me out at soundfridge.com.